Alright guys, I'm back. We're doing 6.NS.6c for ordering integers. The lesson in the book says comparing and ordering integers, but our standard only asks us to do ordering. So when we order integers, you can use a number line. So go figure, we just talked about how we do number lines. We can order those on the number line and then take those pieces and figure out what it is from least to greatest or from greatest to least, because it's already going to be on the number line. And so it says order the set of -9, +6, -3, 0 from least to greatest. And so the first method is that we would use a number line. Just graph those numbers on the number line. So you'd say, okay, we've got our -9, we've got our +6, we have our -3, and we have our 0. And it's asking us from least to greatest. Well, hopefully you know that negatives are the smaller numbers. Everything on the left side is smaller. Things as you approach going to the right side, it goes bigger. So we would put it in order as -9, -3, 0, and 6, and we would be done. Drawing the number line would be annoying, but it does clearly tell us the order of our numbers. Now the other one is to compare the negative numbers. So when you compare, and then compare the positive numbers. Obviously negative numbers are going to be the smaller numbers because they're negative. So the negative numbers here were -9 and -3. And then we've got 0, and that's not positive or negative. And then we have our positive integer, which is 6. Automatically I know my 6 is obviously the biggest number because it's my only positive number. So that would be my last one because it's least to greatest. Then 0 is neither positive nor negative. It's right there in the middle, so it'll go next on the left. And then between -9 and -3, you have to remember that negative is opposite world. The bigger the negative, the smaller it really is. So opposite world negatives, -9 is going to be smaller than -3. So when we're done, again, we have -9, -3, 0, and then 6. And again, you can compare the signs and values and work from there. Meaning, take all the negatives, group them together, take the 0, it's by itself, and take all the positive numbers, group it together, and then you can put them in order. Alright, so now I think this is pretty basic. I want you to go ahead and try E on your own. You can use the number line that is provided as a guide, or you can make your own number line with however you want your numbers to go. They skip counted by 5s here to make sure they could fit it all in there and not have like the longest line ever. So pause the video and do E and F on your own, and when you come back we'll go over the answers. Alright, so using our lovely number line that we were given, I'm going to plot these points. So -4 is between 0 and -5. So I'm going to plot the point right there for -4. Then, and I'm going to have to write it since it's not perfect on there. And then 3 is obviously between 0 and 5. So I'm going to plot the point there as 3. 11 is between 10 and 15. So I'm going to plot it right there. And -25 is over here. Now put them order from least to, or from greatest to least. I'm going to go this direction. I'm going to say it's 11, then 3, then -4, and -25. If you, instead of using the number line, wanted just to group your numbers, you would have 11 and 3 together, and you know 11 is bigger than 3, so it would be first. And then you have -4 and -25 together. And remember, negative world is opposite world, so -25 is actually the smallest number, and -4 is the bigger number. And so 11, 3, -4, -25. For F, the order is, let's see, we've got -18 here, we've got +30, we've got +12, -6, and +3 right here. So putting them in order from this time least to greatest, and it's really important that you pay attention to what it's asking for because it does switch up back and forth. Okay, so we've got the least numbers are on this side, right? So we've got -18, then -6, then 3, then 12, and then 30. And these are our numbers in order from least to greatest. And again, you can grab the negatives and the positives, compare those, and put them in order, and then combine the two orders together to make it from least to greatest. Alright, this is another example, and now we're going to talk about some real world stuff. We've got elevation, and the table shows the lowest elevation for several continents. Order the elevations from least to greatest. they've given us this number line. These are all negatives, so it's not going to be a perfect world where we can group all our negatives and group all our positives together, because in this case it's not going to save us any time. So our number line is probably our better bet here. And our number line, they skip counted because, of course, again, they don't want to write in 400 and something negative numbers. So they skip counted and then just kind of plotted their points as they could between these numbers. So let's see, negative 156 is going to be between negative 150 and negative 200. Then negative 418 is going to be between negative 400 and negative 450. And then negative 12 is going to be next to the 0. Negative 28 is going to be on the other side of that, next to 0. And then we've got 86 between negative 50 and 100. And then we have 105, which is between 100 and 150. It's important for you guys to know where these numbers go. Because if you don't know where the numbers go between these negative numbers, just think of them as groupings. I'm going to put it between the negative 100 and negative 50. I'm going to put it between negative 350 and negative 300. Also, if you're not writing your number lines the correct way, that could also become an issue. All right, so let me have you do this one. Now, this one's talking about fractions. So I want you to order these from least to greatest, and when I come back, we're going to talk about them. And again, use the strategy, either the number line, or you can use the strategy where you just compare positives and negatives. All right, guys, pause the video. All right, so the first thing you can do is put together negatives and positives. So I've got 5/2 as my positive, 1/6 is a positive, and 7/8 are my positives. So these are my positives that are going to go on the right side. Okay, I just have to put them in order. And then I've got my negatives, negative 1/2, negative 12/4, and they're going to go over here because it's the least, right? The lowest number. Now, if I'm looking at these are mixed numbers and some are fractions. I know that if it's a mixed number, or sorry, improper fraction, that's a bigger number. The only improper fraction I have is 5/2, so I know that that's my biggest number here. Then I'm going to compare 1/6 and 7/8, and hopefully just saying 1/6 and 7/8 is a pretty obvious way that 7/8 is going to be bigger. It's almost 1, and 1/6 is almost 0. Now with the negatives over here, again, we have an improper fraction negative, so that makes it bigger. But in opposite world, it makes it smaller. And so negative 12/4 would be over here, and then negative 1/2 would be next. So this is the order of our fractions. Kind of crazy, I know. All right, one last one for you guys. Veronica was 12 minutes early to class, and Deshawn was right on time, and Candace was 3 minutes late. Which timeline represents the student's arrival to class? So think about what early would be, what late would be, and right on time would be. So go ahead and select which one do you think it would be. Pause the video if you need to. All right, when we say 12 minutes early, that's going to be ahead of time. When we're talking about arriving early, we're before time, right? So if Deshawn is right on time, then early before her would be Veronica, and after them late, 3 minutes late, would be Candace. Now I know that's kind of a confusing one, and I actually had to stop and double check to make sure my answer was right, because I was going to go with this one, but I was like, oh wait, does late mean negative, or does early mean negative? So so I'm sure you were either going with, well, you know what, even this one didn't put the D on 0, so honestly, this is the only one that would have made sense. So I guess this is the only one that made sense no matter what. If they had put this on the 0 line, I think this would have been a tricky one. But, yep, so this is the one. All right, guys, that wraps us up. Sorry so we have such long videos now, but you know, I love to talk. I'll see you all in school. Bye.